All right, we're getting ready to do some trucking and retrieve some treasures. Need to get my chain here I borrowed, but I think we got everything else we need still loaded up in the truck from previous treasure retrieval. So I will explain right after this. All right, welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Ross the Oliver Man, and I have acquired a few more things. And the way it started was I had a person reach out to me who shall remain nameless. I've bought several pieces from them before over the years. 374 cultivator, that Plant Air 6-row planter, the 6100 6-row planter came from them. I don't remember all what else over the years. When I bought that stuff, the husband was alive, and I was mainly dealing with him. He passed away, and I didn't hear any more about any of the stuff. They still have a few pieces that I wouldn't mind having. And so, anyway, before the fair, I think like the week before the fair, I got a message that said, I want to talk to you about a piece of white equipment I've got to sell. So I told him I'd be over there some point, and I finally went yesterday and checked it out. And what they had to sell was a 4-row white 543 plate planter. And it's been in the shed and in fairly good condition, you know. But the fact of the matter is, you know, plate planters just are not worth that much money anymore. So, you know, that being said, I have I have two 543s, a 540, and that 5400 Plant Air, which are all basically the same frame style. And I don't think I've ever paid over $300 for any of them. So, you know, that's kind of what I was going into this with the idea of. And, you know, that 5400 came from them, so they should have remembered, you know. But anyway, so I went over there, we looked at it, and she said, I asked her, I said, well, what do you think you're wanting? And she said, $2,700. And I about fell over. I said, well, we're too far apart. I said, I guess we're not gonna make a sale today. So she said, well, I could, you know, cut that in half and take off a little, and for you, I'd sell it for $1,250. And I said, still, I am not in on that price, just because it would just be sitting. It would not be something that I would actually use anymore. You know, I might use it, but it's just not worth that price to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I said, I'm in at a $200 to $300 range. Basically the scrap price is where I would be interested in it to preserve it. So that was no deal. I gave her some ideas. I said she could advertise it here and there and different things and try to maybe find somebody who had to have it, you know. And as we were leaving, they always had equipment kind of sitting around in the barnyard, and two things that they had that I never got bought the last time I was there. They had two 5-bottom plows, a white and an Oliver. And so I just said, do you want to sell those things? And she said, yeah, I'd practically give them to somebody just to get them out of my way. And I said, well, I'll give you $100 a piece for them. And she said, that'd be great. So we're gonna go back today and try to retrieve them before that deal falls through. So I think they have a little Agco tractor with forks. Apparently Buddy the dog is gonna come along. And I think that it will be able to pick it up enough that I can just set them on here, might lay them over. We'll see how they go. Sometimes I've hauled the plow standing up, and sometimes it's easier just to lay them down. But this should be easier to get on this trailer because it doesn't have rails. The last time I hauled a 5 bottom, I actually hauled that 6 bottom. It was on the trailer with rails, and that was kind of a trick, you know. We can always do the thing where we raise it up and back the trailer under it if we can't drive with the tractor holding it up. But yeah. Buddy the dog, what are you doing? Have you found something that fascinates you? Or is it because Dad borrowed the trailer and his dog was probably playing on the trailer? And now, yeah. Okay, that's fine. You're over it. Let's get going. Oh, Buddy the dog, run. Run, Buddy. It's got to make sure that I get out of the driveway, okay? And then he'll turn around and come back home. I probably will not film much while I'm there, just because I don't know if that will go over with her very well. The story goes, or at least I guess to explain more, this stuff belonged to 2 brothers and they farmed together, and they used Oliver and White stuff mainly. And it was interesting because they were one of the few people I knew where they would buy something and then they would like it so well that the other brother wasn't getting a turn to use it, so they'd go back and buy an identical one. As such, they had 2 550s, they had 2 1855s, they had 2 135 whites, they had what else? They had some other stuff, and then each one had some stuff that they owned on their own. Like this guy had a 1650, which is still there and super nice. Obviously not for sale. She kept a 550, and I don't know. So it was just interesting that a lot of the stuff they had, if they had one, they had 2, because they said we liked it so well, so we'd go back and buy another one. Anyway, I guess distantly down the line, I would actually be related to them. And I really like talking to him, especially the one that lived here where we're going. He and I could talk for hours. I mean, just about the old days and different things. And I really liked him and talking to him. I would have liked to visited him one more time before he died, but that's not the way it works sometimes. But anyway, it was just a neat place, and I always liked it because they were another bunch that basically used only Oliver and White stuff. And another thing that was interesting, when I started buying equipment and stuff from them, you could tell that the idea of collecting did not compute. Like, they just did not understand that, you know, why I was buying it. I mean, they understood the part about buying it to farm with stuff, but when I bought some of that stuff, like the plant air planter and things, you know, it was mainly just to preserve it and collect it, and that did not like register to them because that was not in their way. I guess the way they grew up, that didn't exist, collecting, you know. So it was just wore out equipment. They figured it was either going to the scrapyard or gonna start using it again. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if they ever really fully appreciated the fact that stuff was being collected. I know I tried one time to get the one brother to bring some of the tractors to the fair, because those tractors they had were excellent originals, some of them. I mean, sometimes one would be better than the other, but that one 1855, it was a sweetheart. I mean, it, as far as original paint goes, and it was just very nice, and they had no desire to do anything like that. Like, that didn't make any sense to them. Why would we bring this to the fair? This is something we use. Consequently, the one brother always told me, because of those tractors, I asked, I said, how'd you keep that so nice? And he's the one that taught me. He said, if you want to keep something nice, he said, anytime you put a scratch in it or or whatever and you notice you've knocked paint off, he said, go get some paint and touch it up. He said, it doesn't matter even hardly what the color is, as long as it's close. He said, in time, it all kind of blends together, and he said it'll stay looking a lot nicer. And that kind of does make sense, but I wish I could see that tractor to show you, because you know, it was super nice. And yeah, I mean, everything they had was definitely used, but they still took care of it. They were very particular. They did not like oil leaks, so if the 1855 started dripping or whatever, it went to the shop and got fixed. So everything was kept in very good order. But then, like you have these plows, they just live their whole life outside like most plows do. And the two plows we're getting, I bet they haven't moved in 30 years. I mean, they are sunk in the dirt now. So I am assuming that it's gonna need all new points and probably new moldboards, because it was about halfway up the moldboard, but we'll see. It's worth what I gave her for it, and we'll just see what we get into, but we're definitely gonna save them. Well, that's on there. However, it did not go at all like I envisioned it. That was a struggle. First of all, the little Deutz tractor, I don't know if it made it on the camera at all or not, but it's a little, I don't remember the number, 6065 Deutz Alice with a loader. And it just doesn't quite have enough meat in its britches to pick up a, I think that's a 508 5-bottom plow that was about half sunk up to the dirt and the moldboards. There you can see. We'll look at it when we get home. And I tried and tried to get it picked up. Well, first of all, I had the camera running on the back of the pickup, and then the battery on the tractor was dead. It wouldn't start, so I had to use the pickup to jump it, and then I never got the camera put back. So I tried picking it up. It wouldn't pick the whole thing up at once. More than an inch or so off the ground. So I tried picking up half the plow, thinking I was going to back under it that way, and then kind of, you know, maybe get the trailer under far, and then when I let it down, it would pick it up and I could go to the back and just push it. That didn't work. Finally, it flipped over and it ended up upside down, and then it slid on. So I got the first half, the trailer backed under it, and then I had to use the handyman jack and keep picking up the front of it and letting it scoot forward, and then I'd back the truck up to where the plow was hanging under tension, take the handyman jack on the front and just pick it up to where the plow would jump forward, scoot forward. And I kept doing that until it was pretty well on there, and then I picked up the back half of the plow and just floored the pickup backwards, and it slid the rest of the way on there. I probably could have done it slightly easier, but I did not want to bust the front end out of that little tractor. The edge of the moldboards were getting pretty close to the grill, and I could just see something swinging around and busting that out of there, and then I'd have to fix a tractor too. So, but anyway, I figured if I got this one first, it would be the more difficult one. On that 565, I should be able to pick it up no problem, because they're a lot lighter than this. But we made it, and don't kid yourself, it's rough. Some people are gonna say, boy, you stole that for what you paid. Well, it needs every hydraulic line, probably a hydraulic cylinder, and the moldboards are pretty thin on the edge. The plow points from here don't look too bad, but I wasn't really paying attention to them when I was working my Knudsen off there. So we'll take a look at it when we get home here in a second. She did give me a memorial card from the old guy's funeral. I didn't get to make it when he had the funeral. I don't remember what happened that week, but it was kind of sudden when that took place, and I didn't end up making it up there. And you know, I kind of wished I had, but she gave me a memorial card, and it had a poem on it about the farm that she picked for him or something, and I thought it was pretty neat. So I'm not going to show you that. You don't need to know who it is or any of that, because they're kind of like to keep to themselves. But that meant a lot to me, because like I said, I really liked the old feller. He was a good guy. So anyway, we'll take a look at this when we get home, hopefully without incident. Well, we're getting very close to home. It's always a relief when you're close enough in your territory that if something bad happens, you can go home and get a loader tractor and pick up the pieces. I'm not going to say that thing hasn't shifted on there a little bit, but it's a good thing I chained the tongue pulling it back this way, because it seems like it's hanging a little lower every corner I go around, but that might just be an optical illusion. Anyway, we will get there, get this off of there, and go about getting the other one. All right, let's look over our treasure here. It's actually better than I thought it would be. I mean, truth be told, that would probably plow one more time. The moldboards are paper thin though, so it's gonna need new iron, but definitely she is heavy, and everything else is pretty solid. Cushion trip beams, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure if this is a 508. I'm not up on all the differences. I can't remember everything. But the tire was still holding air, I believe, but you can see how far down in the dirt the thing was sunk. I mean, it was down there. That cylinder actually might even be good to use, because it's probably all the way in for what the plow would let it in anyway. The rest of it's inside. It might still be clean and not rust free, but the hoses are garbage. I don't think they will even work one time, so that's going to have to be addressed. Coulters pretty well wore out. But some of them are rolling. Yeah, hoses are just junk. We won't even look at that. It's kind of odd. It's got, I see how they did it now. They connected so that they didn't have to bend pipe. They connected hoses. I wonder how much of that stuff's gonna actually come loose. Probably not a whole heck of a lot. I'll have to take the clamps loose on part of the pipe to get that, or I guess I could saw that hoses in half and then get you know, swivels to put back in there. This was a struggle, friends, to get this up on here. You wouldn't think it weighs that much more than a 565 plow, but it does. I think that's, what is that, 8-inch box beam on these? I can't remember, but definitely the little Agco tractor was putting the hurt on its lift capacity, I'll tell you that. I purposely started with this one because I knew it'd be the most difficult, and I thought if I can do this, then I know I'll get that other one, because they're a lot lighter than this. Basically, those 565 plows are pieces of channel iron welded together, and this is a big piece of box tubing. But yeah, what a peach. It's one I didn't have. That's what I was after. The 5 bottom, I've got another 5 bottom. Talking to my cousin though, the Oliver 770 farm boy, he might be wanting to buy a 5 bottom plow, so I might sell him a duplicate. He really wanted this one, but tough luck, I don't have one. He wants to go to Rantoul next year and plow, so I said we could borrow this plow and do that if he wants to do that. But that means we're gonna have to get it in a lot better shape. I mean, that's pretty well wore. Yeah. We'll have to back up here a little bit to get the loader tractor to it. I'm gonna try to just hook onto a couple of these and see if I can pick it up enough and drive the trailer out from under it. And then we'll go about our merry way. I don't like the fact that I had to set it on that tube, but it's got enough flex in the whole run that it's probably not gonna have hurt it. It will probably spring back just fine. But yeah, we'll back up and then the loader tractor's right back here, so. Oh, all but one turn. So, one stuck coulter. Well, I'll set you there for as long as you'll sit there. You might flip off, I don't know. Attempt number one is going to be a failure, but I have to try the minimum effort, so we'll do it anyway. Leave you back here? Probably not, but I'm going to. Hang on. I didn't even break you a little. How impressive. Oh, but the plow is now going to, yeah, do something odd. Sure. Get hooked behind there. Sure. Let's make that the most difficult possible. Run around there and set that down before it changes its mind. Boy, that's not the way I would envision that to flip, but I'm gonna try to drive forward. This was a dumb maneuver I just did. All it has to do is break that moldboard and then the whole plow will come sailing down on me. Now, if we back away, gravity should be our friend and it should lay down. It might come back on us, I don't know. Didn't go, but it didn't fall either, so. Sure, that kind of works. Let's just leave it sit right in the way, you know? That'll motivate us to move it. It would be nice to change the hoses so this is ready to go in that regard. Serial number tag. Not hardly readable. Serial number, but no model number. And I'm pretty sure it's a 508. I don't suppose it still has remnants of a... Weren't they up in that area there? Sure. Let's go get the other one. Well, round number 2. Let's hope we make it home. This one I was able to get on there upright, except for the tail wheel. It's hanging over the edge of the trailer, so I took the tire off. I've had to do that before, but as long as the jack doesn't punch through the floor, it should ride upright pretty good. So we'll see what happens. I mean, failure is imminent at any time, and that's just the way life goes. So we'll see what happens, but we're sailing along pretty good right now. All right, we made it back with the second one. 565 plow. Been sitting under the old tree for a long time. And one thing I noticed, I guess it's just on one of them, but I noticed on the drive home this cover board back here, and that's kind of odd because usually curved coulters, you don't need the cover boards. Straight coulters, you do. So, don't know what's up with that. Had to take the wheel off to get it to clear, you know. Yeah, that's just the way she ended up. I still couldn't pick it up quite high enough with that AGCO tractor. So this is how she turned out. And I see my chain on the front didn't even hold. So luckily the jack didn't punch through the floor, because then the thing probably would have flipped over, landed on the fender, crushed it into the wheels, skidded the truck out of control into a tree. It would have burst into the flames, killing me slowly, all while I was watching my death in the mirror. So yeah, it's a good thing that didn't happen. But I think what I'll do is I'll put the wheel back on, and then we will try to unload this and call it a day as far as truck projects go, because I'm pretty wore out now, I'll be honest with you. I was looking at how in the mirror it looked all wonky. I guess this has come loose, or they unhooked it. Wonder why they unhooked that. So they unhooked that for some reason, and then that pipe isn't bent. It's just that with the thing hanging over the edge of the trailer, it's so much lower that, yeah. So I think we're in good shape. We just need to put the wheel on and pick her back up. I'm wore out after working on that skid loader yesterday. I am not recovering well. I am exhausted. That is a lot of work, because you gotta climb in and out and fold up the cab up and down. I guess you don't even know about that maybe, but yesterday I worked on a skid loader on a service call. I should have filmed it, but it was miserable the whole time, and it would have been all animal sounds. So that's why I didn't. I just really wanted it over with, is what I wanted. Oh. Oh, that still spins. That's good. It probably won't be happy till I'm laying in the dirt. That's pretty well my lot in life. It's just laying in the dirt. Yeah. For fun, do we want to see if it would hold air? I doubt it would, but got the little air inflator. It's always a good sign when it's full of dirt, even with the cap on. Let me go get the air inflator. We'll see if it'll pump up an old co-op tire. High level. Will it? It's popping back out. It's actually working. Michael, quit while we're ahead. It did air up. Kind of spectacular, really. All right, loader tractor. Let's see if we can get this one off of here. Oh, sweet. Didn't even pay attention to that. There's a roll of elevator chain for that hay elevator like I've got in the barn. And I'm missing a bunch of these, so that'll be cool. Well, camera shut off, but I managed to get that one just picked up high enough that I could just back over the fender, set it down. So we'll figure out some place to stick both of these, and then we'll figure out what our plan is. Like I said, if he wants one, I might sell him one. It'll probably be that one. It is a 5 bottom as well. I don't know. This one would probably go to the field if we washed it up. I mean, pretty dirty. The points might be a little worse on this one than they were on the other one. So it might need points. However, I think that, well, I was gonna say I thought the moldboards were better, but they're getting pretty thin back there too. So, yeah, but I'm liking this. Oh, there's another lawnmower blade. She found one out there in the dirt after we moved the plow, and there was another one, so they must have been stacked up there. Didn't realize it. So, yeah, but look how deep in the ground this one was. You see the line? It's been sitting there that long. It was that deep in the ground. Pretty amazing, but it's actually in decent shape. I mean, it's not, nothing's bent or broken. Anyway, the camera battery's about dead. It's over it, so am I. But we got it off of here. We saved its life. And yeah, it's fairly complete. It doesn't look like it's missing anything. And that's pretty cool. So that one's got some welding on it and stuff. That's why I say it may be that I keep this one for a 5 bottom and part ways with that one. So we will see, time will tell, but at any rate, we did a good thing here and got a good deal. We got 2 plows and life is good. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.